I never thought I'd watch my own mother get handcuffed on the dock she claimed to own, her face twisting like she'd swallowed a lemon dipped in battery acid, all because she couldn't stand Grandpa's old tackle box cluttering her view. It started with a single complaint to the HOA board, something about unauthorized structures on the shared shoreline, but escalated when she dialed 911, screaming about trespassing and environmental violations, her voice shrill enough to scatter the loons across the lake. By the time the sirens wailed up Route 89, I'd already pulled the property record from the county clerk's dusty archives, my hands shaking not from fear, but from the cold fury of betrayal. After all, she'd raised me on stories of family legacy, only to sell out the man who built it all for a whisper of suburban superiority. We'd come up to the cabin every summer since I was a kid, that creaky A-frame on Lake Placid's edge, where Grandpa taught me to tie flies and swear at the wind like it owed us money. He was 82 now, retired logger with hands like oak knots and a laugh that rumbled like thunder over the Adirondacks. The place wasn't fancy, no granite counters or smart thermostats, just a stone fireplace, a sagging porch swing, and a shoreline that stretched a quarter-mile, deeded to our family back in '52 when the state carved up the woods for returning vets. Mom, though, she'd traded flannel for Lululemon years ago, divorcing Dad for a real estate broker named Todd, who wore boat shoes year-round and preached community standards like gospel. When they bought the McMansion 2 lots down last spring, she joined the HOA faster than you can say covenant violation, turning into the queen bee of busybody Karens overnight. It began innocently enough, or so she spun it. Grandpa motored up from Florida in his '78 Chris Craft, the one with the varnish peeling like old skin, and parked it at the dock to fix a loose plank. Mom spotted him from her kitchen window, probably mid-zoom with her Essential Oils MLM group, and marched over in her North Face fleece, clipboard in hand. "Dad, this dock's on association property now," she barked, waving some laminated bylaw like a yellow flag at a NASCAR wreck. "You're blocking access, and those bait buckets? Total eyesore. How about a petition going?" Grandpa just chuckled, offering her a cold Genesee from the cooler. "Petition all you want, Kathy, but this here's my water, same as always." She bristled at the slip. God, she hated that nickname, the one the neighbors whispered after a third anonymous noise complaint, and stormed off, muttering about lawyers and liens. By evening, the text flew. "He's ruining resale value," to the board, then the big one to dispatch. "Armed intruder at the lakefront," refusing to leave. I was in Albany, grinding through a shift at the hardware store, when my phone lit up with the scanner chatter. Heart pounding, I floored it north, tires humming on blacktop slick with May rain. The cops, 2 stoddies fresh out of the academy, pulled up, lights flashing, and there was Mom, arms crossed like a traffic cop, pointing accusatorily while Grandpa sat on his cooler, whittling a base lure, utterly unfazed. "Officer, he's been harassing us for weeks. Look at that illegal extension on the pier." The younger cop nodded sympathetically, notepad out, while his partner eyed the scene, radio crackling. That's when I screeched into the gravel lot, deeds flapping from my glove box like a white flag of surrender or victory, depending on the wind. "Hold up," I yelled, vaulting the fence with the agility of a man half my 35 years. "This isn't trespassing. It's family." I slapped the yellow documents on the hood of the cruiser. Surveys, tax rolls, even the original plat map showing our parcel swallowing the entire cove. The shoreline? Ours. The dock? Ours. Hell, the shared access easement she'd been yapping about was a figment of the HOA's overzealous imagination, cooked up in a '98 meeting to boost dues. Mom's eyes widened, that smug Karen glow flickering to panic. But the board said. The older cop, a grizzled vet with a mustache like a push broom, scanned the papers under his flashlight, then snorted. "Ma'am, these checks out. Looks like you're the one stirring the pot here." He turned to her, voice dropping low. "False reports, a misdemeanor. Up to a year in county if the DA's feeling spicy. You want to explain why you dragged us out for a family spat?" Mom sputtered, yoga-toned, arms flailing, dredging up every entitlement in her arsenal. "Do you know who I am? My husband's on the planning commission. This is elder abuse, suing for defamation. But the words hung there, limp as yesterday's catch, while neighbors trickled out from screen porches, phones up, live tweeting the takedown. HOA Karen busted, trended local by midnight. They cuffed her loose, courtesy, they said, but her wrists turned pink anyway, loading her into the back seat like a misbehaving toddler. Grandpa waved from the dock, that rumble laugh echoing. Tell Todd I said supper's on me next time. I stood there as the taillights faded, the lake lapping soft against the pilings, a bitter chill settling despite the spring thaw. Mom had always preached legacy, but hers was built on quicksand. Envy of the simple life she fled, weaponized against the roots that fed it. By week's end, the HOA dissolved in scandal. Dues refunded, her McMansion listed at a loss. She called from the Airbnb she'd holed up in, voice cracking. Why didn't you warn me? I hung up without a word. Revenge? Nah, just truth, served cold as placid water. Some shorelines you can't buy, and some Karens learn that the hard way, drowning in the wake of their own wake-up call.